Here's try it number 1. So we're using the same grid. What is the distance from the school to the playground? Explain how you used absolute value to find the distance. So they're clearly asking for absolute value, right? So you can't just count and say that's the distance. So you got to be able to prove it. So what is the distance from the school to the playground? All right, so we do this a little bit differently, but that's the ordered pair, -4, 2, and up here we have the ordered pair, -4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So what is the distance between these two? 1, 2, 3. We know it's going to be 3 units, but how do I show that mathematically? So this distance here, if you remember the previous problem, we did absolute value of A plus absolute value of B. The reason we did that is because these were in different quadrants. Now that's new terminology, but this is quadrant 1, quadrant 2, quadrant 3, and this is quadrant 4. The first problem we did from the school to the house, those were in different quadrants. And when they're in different quadrants, we add them together. So this is different quadrants. If they're not in different quadrants, like this new problem that we're looking at, they're in the same area. You've got the school here, and then you've got the playground here. They're in the same quadrant. So if they're in the same, we take A minus B. You take the absolute value of A minus B when they're in the same quadrant. So in this case, looking at those, you could see that the x coordinate are the same. They're both -4. So we're comparing the y coordinates. So we're going to write a new equation. Kind of running out of space here, but we'll have absolute value. We want to use the larger of the quantities. So we'll put 5 first. Minus the absolute value of the smaller of the quantities. So that'd be 2. What does that equal? So absolute value of 5 is 5. Absolute value of 2 is 2. 5 minus 2, 3. They're 3 units away, which is what we had counted earlier. But now you have shown it through absolute value. Okay, so again, I make sure you have those rules written down. When do we do absolute value? When do we add? And when do we subtract? Make sure you have that down. This is different quadrants. And this is when they're in the same.